What do you think, players in the ECHL, what do they expect from a coach? Because it's kind of uh, it's very much, I guess, in the middle ground where you've got players that, probably in some cases are just trying to extend their professional career as long as possible. You have some players that are itching to move up as quickly as possible. How do you manage that from I guess, a player development standpoint?
Yeah, I think, players want to know that you care about them and where they want to go, So asking them the question of where do you want to go and what do you need to get there, I think is important. I think trying to put guys in situations where they can have the most success is important. And then recruiting the right people with that is super important. You need team first individuals. Like you said, some guys are trying to make it to the next level. In my opinion, the best way to do that is to have success as a team, because at the next level, they're going to look at a top team in your league and say, okay, who's a free agent there that we could call up, So I think that team success is huge. And the longer you play in this league, the less teams are around, and then everybody's watching your team play. So, yeah, I think just being upfront with guys. And then the last thing would be trying to make it a fun place to play. Guys want to have fun and enjoy coming to the rink. So we try to do that on a daily basis with the way that we handle players and handle our business. And even when things aren't going well, for example, we have a ping pong table in our room, which is the first year we've ever had that. And I had our captain when we were in a 5-game skid a couple weeks ago. He's like, do you want us to take that out or keep it out of the room? And I'm like, no, like this is when we need that most. Like if guys don't
Yeah.
want to come, guys already probably are having a hard time wanting to come to the rink. Now you start taking away the fun things at the rink too. I want them to want to be here, especially when things aren't going bad. So how do you do that? And I think small things like that can make a big difference and an impact on your group.
That's awesome. And what does that look like, say, in practice? How do you keep things loose and fun in practice?
Yeah. Try to bring high energy as a staff, always barking at them, whether it's cheering them on or kicking them in the butt a little bit, I think is important. And I think that they feed off of your energy as well. I think being aware, what's their energy like? What's our schedule been like? How hard can I push them? If you're just grinding them into the ground every day, they're not going to want to practice. They're not going to want to be there on a daily basis. So having a good feel on your team's pulse is really important for sure. And talking to your leadership group and trying to figure out what that's like. And we have a strength coach that's really good at giving us feedback on where they should be energy wise, and trying to create competition in practice and throwing a game in there. Also, I feel is important as well. But really having the pulse of your team, and when do they need a day off? When can you push them a little bit harder? And I think we've done a pretty good job of that so far, and we've got good feedback from our group.
So, I mean, you grew up in small town Canada. Where does Kalamazoo rank as a hockey town? And we've recently kind of been introduced through a partnership there with the local minor hockey association. We've moved our conference to the University of Michigan, and it kind of seems like maybe it's a little bit undercover, but a
Yeah,
hotbed.
yeah, for sure. I mean, hockey in Michigan, I think, is pretty big, and in Kalamazoo in particular. You have the university here, Western Michigan Hockey, and they draw really well and have been around for a long time. Our team, the Kalamazoo Wings, we're in our 48th season as
That's
a
wild.
minor pro hockey club. And there's not a lot of minor pro hockey clubs that have been able to last for 48 years, and I think we're extremely fortunate to have a couple of the owners that we've had in the Parfett family in the past, and now Bill Johnston and Rhonda Stryker, who aren't doing this to make money. They're losing money every year, but they see this as a tool to bring the community together, and they're so important to this community and the things that they give back and try to provide this community with. That's, I mean, essentially why we're here as a club, and we're able to chase our dreams and do what we want to do.
That's crazy. 48 years. And if I recall, so like kind of in the heyday, like Ken Hitchcock, That's where he kind of cut his teeth, correct? In the American League, won a championship there, I think. And there was, I mean, there's been a long list of players and coaches that have come through there.
Yeah, so they were in the IHL, the old IHL, for
IHL,
a
yeah,
long time. Yeah, and
yeah.
with the, I want to say Minnesota North Stars / Dallas Stars for a long time. So, coaches like Ken Hitchcock, players like Marty Turco, and tons of names coming through here in those days for sure.
How do you, as you go through the season, and we're probably just around that corner where you get into that stretch drive to the playoffs. Does the focus narrow a little bit in terms of what you're spending time on with the team?
Yeah, I mean, I think our focus narrows for sure as a group, um, but it's that constant battle as a coach of identifying what you need to focus on as a team and what's most important. It definitely gets to the point now where every game becomes significantly more important. So it almost, and I was talking to one of my mentors here today who's going to come and talk to our team tomorrow, who spent 6 years the head coach of Western Michigan football team here. And, we're like, this is kind of the time of the schedule where our schedule becomes like a football schedule because they play so few games that every game is so important. And we're like, that's the spot where we're at. So, for us, I think our focus is how can we maximize their energy as well when you get to these dog days, so that when we hit tough stretches and we hit middle of February and then March, which is going to be our moving month. That's where we want to move into position, where we want to be, and our schedule sets up great with 8 home games and 4 on the road. And we've been pretty good on the road playing 500 hockey. Unfortunately, we've been 500 at home. So if we can increase our home winning percentage there, then we like our chances of being a playoff team, and we have a ton of confidence in this group and what we're able to achieve.
Can I ask you who your mentor is, and just how that relationship came to be? And I feel like that's such a important part of leadership today.
Yeah, so Tim Lester. So for the past 6 seasons, he was the head coach of the Western Michigan University football team here. Our kids play hockey together, our 9-year-olds.
Awesome.
So this past summer when I ended up getting this head coaching job, I said, hey, would you mind being my mentor? And he's like, I would love to do it anytime. So, um, you know, totally different sport, but he's been a coach for the past 20 years, right? So I think that his input on how to create culture and a sense of team and family is, second to none. He's been had a huge impact on the way that we do things here off the ice. And a couple things, just for example, like we do daily affirmations as a group, which is something that he taught me. So, um, you know, you can affirm somebody, a teammate, a staff member. You could just tell us something you're thankful for, and it's even morphed into you could tell us who your hero is. So, an opportunity for us to create a positive environment for players, and also to learn about players. When they start talking about something they're thankful for, they start telling you who their hero is. They affirm, a staff member, your athletic trainer who's been helping them get through an injury. Like you get to learn who they are. I think they get to learn about each other as teammates as well. And then another thing he helped us do was give us a way to set up our core values as a team and come up with 3 things that were going to be super important to our group, which ended up being growth, grit, and family. And so, yeah, he's been a huge part of how we do things here now. I think Nick Bootlin, that I worked with for a long time in Kalamazoo, also has been a great mentor to me. I finished playing my career 6 years for him, and then I coached with him for 3 years. So he's had a huge impact on the way that we run things and that I do things, I think, on a daily basis, where I've tried to put my own twist on it and make it my own. But I learned a lot of it from him, and the work ethic that goes into it, and what you need to do. And I know even going through our 5-game skid there a couple of weeks ago, I remember telling our players, and it's something that I learned from him, where it's like, hey, I don't know any other way to do it other than to continue to keep working. So we're going to continue to keep working and push through this thing together as a group.
That's awesome. You know what? I had a conversation recently where someone said, "Don't ever trust a coach who doesn't have a coach or mentor." Meaning, like if somebody's not willing to be coach themselves and take advice, and they don't seek that out, then it probably speaks to maybe the motivation of why they've gone into coaching in the first place. Coaches ask me all the time how they can get more accomplished during their practice. My answer: huddle. Here's why. Because the more you can teach and educate off the ice, the more progress you can make on the ice. Huddle is the leading video and data solution for ice hockey in the world. Huddle delivers simple yet powerful video review tools with desktop and mobile apps, enabling entire teams to review, study, and share video anywhere and at any time. Plus, with Huddle Assist, you can quickly get access to a full suite of game stats along with your film breakdown. So you can analyze both your team's and individual player performance, ensuring you provide objective feedback. Right now, listeners of the Glassnote podcast can get a great discount on Huddle products. To learn more, check out huddle.com/the coaches site for details on this exclusive offer. That's HUDL.com/the coaches site.